Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Resonance Club. I'm Molly Holly, founder of Elite Resonance, and I also have a few entrepreneurial side hustles that I experiment with here and there. I often have to remind myself that I'm actually too busy to be focusing on those, but they become creative outlets. And before all that, I was actually a corporate leader, a team leader, manager in corporate for over 5 years. And over the last few years, I've been studying coaching, hypnosis, breath work. I've been learning so much about the subconscious, about our nervous system, our identity, our self-perception. And what's really interesting is I was studying a lot of this while I was in leadership, and I really started to notice how much anything to do with the nervous system helped in leadership, helped in management, how hypnosis really helped me show up and communicate in a better way. And so I'll definitely be weaving both my professional experience, but also my, professional studies into everything I talk about within the Resonance Club. And I really want to, leadership has been on my heart for so long. And I think what has really held me back around talking about leadership in a public space and more freely is actually having been in the role. So I didn't want to talk about my experiences while I was still at those jobs because it just felt a little bit off. Even though my intention has always been to empower people to empower themselves, to help them realize that they are a leader, they are self-led, they are a leader in their own life, in their work, even if they don't have a leadership title. But the thing is, when I was a leader in corporate, I was always so worried that someone on my team would hear the podcast or someone would just think I had the wrong intention and I was somehow using the job. Anyway, I had all these, I suppose, for lack of a better word, limiting beliefs and narratives going on in my mind about why I couldn't talk about leadership the way I really wanted to. Because that's the other thing, is the way I talk about leadership, both whether you are in someone else's business, leading within someone else's business, or leading your own business, is so different to all the LinkedIn courses basically all the courses on LinkedIn, any of the management tactics, any of the high ROI type tactics and courses and information out there. My approach is very much responsibility, accountability first, just being self-led, awakening that potential in other people. And throughout my career, I actually often wondered how I actually ended up becoming a leader, because I definitely did not ever consider myself to be a leader. I honestly just thought I was not capable, or no one would listen to me, or it just really did not cross my mind to be something that I was ever going to do or be capable of, because leaders were those people that were really great at communicating, that had presence, that had confidence, and I just wasn't them. But then I kept getting invited. And when I say invited, I was literally asked, like, hey, Molly, we have a leadership opportunity. Do you want to take it? Can you please apply? Literally invited into leadership opportunities. And so as I did my coaching certifications and my breathwork certifications and learning all this extra information around identity and subconscious, it really started to help me understand what I was actually doing and how I ended up in a lot of those roles, which is something I talk a lot more about in a masterclass I recently created, which you can find more details about that in the description. 3 important lessons that I learnt over this time is, one, that you need to lead before you're a leader. If you want to be seen as a leader, even if you don't want to be seen as a leader, career success, business success, pretty much success in any area of your life requires you to lead yourself to that success, to be self-led, to lead before anyone tells you that you are a leader or that you deserve something or that you are enough. It's to actually go first, to have that accountability and that ownership, to see a problem in your life, to see something that that isn't the way you want it to be, and then to do something about it, because that's all really leadership is it's deciding to solve a problem. It's deciding to do something about something you see out in the world and then taking the action steps towards it. And this has really helped when you do actually see yourself as a leader, or you do start to see yourself as self-led, whether it is a thought leader, whether it is just, self-led, whether it is a leader of your life, whether it is a leader of your community, whether it is a leader of the things that you are trying to create, right? So even as an artist, in a lot of ways, you are a leader of a creative expression. And the third lesson that I want to talk to you about today is one, it's probably quite controversial, and it's one that I grappled with and was almost in denial with for so long. I didn't want to believe it was so initially when I was actually not a very good leader. When I was the first leadership opportunity I had, I was actually in my mid-20s. Doesn't mean people in their 20s can't be great leaders, but I just had no idea what I was doing. And I wanted to believe that the culture around me would be a buffer, that it would absorb me and my actions and my decisions wouldn't influence the culture. But the thing is, the leader, the manager, is the epicenter on which the culture balances. So that doesn't mean the leader creates the whole culture. It doesn't mean they are the reason that the culture exists in the first place, but they are the thing the culture balances on. And so, for example, if you are creating your own business, naturally, of course, the culture, the team is going to grow out from or develop out from you. Like, you are the center, and then you hire people and the culture evolves from there. So that's pretty obvious. When it comes to working in someone else's business, so a job, corporate, literally anything career related, is what often happens is there's a team pre-existing, right? And then the manager gets changed out. So whether they leave, whatever, and then a new manager comes into a pre-existing team. And this is where it gets quite interesting, because what I used to believe is that when you get put into a team, then you will be absorbed by that culture. You as the leader will just get absorbed by the culture around you. But the thing is, what actually happens is either you are aligned with the culture, or I don't know what's a better word, in sync, or you just fit into that culture. So if you fit into that culture, it may seem like you don't have a lot of influence on that culture because you've balanced it quite well. It is stable on who you are. But then if you are completely different, if you as an individual are completely different to the culture of that team, you will destabilize it. And this isn't always a bad thing, because if you are a great leader and it's a bad culture, then you will destabilize a bad culture and recreate an amazing culture around you. If there's a great culture and you're a bad manager, then you will also destabilize a great culture. It will not buffer your behavior. And that's the part so many people do not want to admit, do not want to take accountability for their level of influence on the culture around you. And yes, it is everyone that ultimately makes up that culture, but everyone that makes up that culture essentially rests on you as the epicenter to balance that culture, to maintain it, to hold it in place. And so we can't always control how that culture is going to develop or how it pans out. But don't be so naive to think that you don't have a critical part in it. And this is why it is so important as the leader to do anything self-development, self-improvement, to really look at your own triggers and your own shadow, and to notice where you're letting fear and ego get in the way of your best version, because everyone has their best version. Everyone has the potential to be a great leader, but the version of ourselves we show up as can often be, I guess, tainted by our fears, by our nervous system, by our ego and our preconceived beliefs about other people and even ourselves. And it doesn't mean being perfect all the time or constantly trying to always make sure you behave in exactly the perfect way, because that doesn't achieve what you want either. Being so perfect that you're not real, it isn't the solution. If anything, being less than perfect is actually going to have a more positive influence and impact on your life and the people around you. That's why it is so important to lead yourself first so you can lead others better. And so that's all I have for you for this episode. I hope to record weekly episodes. We'll see how that goes. But I definitely do intend to bring together, any of my hard-won lessons and insights from my experience in leadership, together with my understanding of the research and certifications and studies that I've done. And to really, I can't really be a sounding board in this format, but I know at the start of my leadership journey, I needed someone that had the similar values to me to really bounce ideas off, because you get to a point where things start to get a bit muddled, where you're not really sure. There's just a lot to work through, particularly at the start of leadership. And so I really hope to be able to give you insights and guidance that make leading easier and more fulfilling. And then, of course, if you do actually want to, chat to me about anything, then please do. I'll be more than happy to mentor you, answer any questions. You can find more details about that in the description. And until next time, remember, lead yourself first to lead others better, and lead with ease to build the dream. Thank you.